Hello, friends. Welcome back to the session on digital transformation in HR. Friends, in the previous session of 45 minutes, lastly, we had seen the HR functions that are being transformed. So basically, it's the HR is we had concluded, or we had rather discussed out that HR is playing a functional role, but rather because of the digital activities that are being carried out in the organization, it is rather playing a transformational role. Further continuing on the digital HR side, there has been a survey which was conducted, which basically tells you in which all categories or which all functions the employer carries out the activities on the digital side, the HR activities. And it has, you can see that the recruitment and the selection side, that is especially on the recruitment side, the digital or the technological decisions that is plays a critical role. That is, more of digital activities are being carried out when you are talking of recruitment. Then comes the employee development, that is more of the developmental activities, 43%. Then comes the staff experience, improving the staff experience, creating collaboration work environments, 40%, workforce planning, that is something on the HRP side, 38%, and ensuring the well-being and the diversity, 34%. So the maximum HR tech decisions or more of HR technologies are been implemented in case of the recruitment side. So all the various functions that we had seen in the previous session, which the HR plays, which the HR department plays, a transformational activities. That's what we'll try to see in this next slide or in this upcoming session, that how practically all this various functions are been implemented into the organizations. So it's basically the technologies that are used in various HR functions, wherein because of these, the HR is playing a transformational role rather than only the functional role. Friends, as we know that, as we have seen in the previous slide, the recruitment, majority of the digital side of the organization in HR, it's been played by the recruitment on the recruitment side. And applicant tracking system, ATS, it plays a very important role for attracting, for tracking a applicant. So basically, when you because basically it is recruitment is nothing but we need the best. We need more and more quantum of applications so that we are able to select the best out of it. So applicant tracking system, we are, because as it's a digital platform, we are easily in a position to track the employee, the prospective applicant, the prospective employee rather, on a digital side. You are able to tell that he has filled up this form, he has filled up this form, his this form is pending, he will be giving the interview after 10 days. Easily in a position, you are able to track your applicant, you are able to track the activities of that person. So that is how ATS is helping you. The second one, that is AI driven recruitment software and skill assessment. We all know that uh, whenever you are hiring an employee, uh, the skill set of that employee should be seen, and it should be aligned to the JD job description, or rather the job profile of the for which that position, for which that person is applying. So basically, there has been artificial intelligence driven recruitment softwares, wherein immediately when you put in with the XYZ profile or the skill sets that the person is having, or maybe even if you are having a high-end platforms wherein when you put only a CV of that profile of that person, you will directly come to the answer as it's AI driven, that he is suitable for this position or he is not suitable for the position. So the artificial intelligence itself is carrying out the skill assessment, rather you traditionally seeing that yes, he has applied for this position, shall we go ahead with that position or not. So as it's AI driven, all this recruitment software or the skill assessment activities which is happening, the system is able to do that. You just need to feed into the data depending upon the various factors that you have highlighted. Just as an example of it, say for example there is a shipping company and you are recruiting the seafarers for a technical job. Say you are recruiting for the first officer or maybe for the second officer, the nautical science officers. So in that case, if you are having the certificate and what kind of behavioral skills that person should be having, so if it's been reflected into the CV, and if those statements which has been made on in the CV, if you are highlighting it to the system, by default, as it's AI driven system, it will rather tell you that yes, the skill which has been reflected in his or her profile, easily will it be suitable for the nautical science first officer or second officer profile or not. So it is much more of AI driven, and right now it is much easier for us to have such kind of skill assessments. And lastly, we all know that when you talk of the recruitment drives or when we talk of the recruitment activities, social media plays a very critical role. Why? Uh, you as an employer, we all need the best of the applicants, so that we are able to shortlist the out of the best one, we are able to shortlist the best of the best. uh, so if you on the social media, if you are able to market yourself in a much more better positions, whenever you are having the recruitment drive, you will be having the better applications. So under the recruitment, there has been various marketing strategies which has been developed by the companies, so as to showcase the employer or that company on the higher end, so that more quantum of employees, so that more quantum of applicants, uh, so the CVs or the various other you are been reflected, your company has been reflected on the social media, so that you are able to get so that you are able to get more quantum of applications in case of the recruitment. uh, the second one, of course, the selection. There has been various interview methods, and right now as we all are talking of international what do you call, rather international HRM, because of having various international activities by a company, the interviews or the various methods of conducting the interviews are not only happening in one way, it is happening in various methods and simultaneously at various locations also, because HR is not confined only and only to one organization, or rather what you call, only to one location. It is at varied locations, and it is at what you call, rather various methods of interviews are been implemented. Now of course you have in various methods of selection, you have psychometric testing, You have application based questions which you give to the applicants, wherein you ask to critically analyze that XYZ scenario, wherein you are able to understand the practical thinking of the that applicant. Say, for example, if you are applying for say management trainee profiles, sorry, if you're applying for a management trainee profile, and you have certain what do you call management trainee profile in, say, for example, ENY or any other big five companies, they give you a scenario wherein a few couple of days would be given to you, and depending upon that scenario you need to prepare an answer of it. That answer, of course, it will be screened on a IT basis, or rather on AI side, so that directly you can tell that this the kind of critical factors which we require, is it reflected in the answer or not. So rather it is because huge quantum of data, if, say, for example, if you are having lots and lots of applications, and if you are giving to all those scenarios to various applications, and if they are coming up with various answer, it would be a very, very tedious task to individually go through all those answers. So basically what you do is you pick up few sentences, you throw it into the system, and rather the system will inform you this is the best one depending upon the factors which you have already input into the system. So yes, you have various screening, various methods of screening tests. You have psychometric testing, which is happening online, and immediately in a fraction of a second, you are able to get the result out of it. Once the exam is getting over, after that, one individual person, if you want to get the answer of it, easily and quickly, you are able to get that. And that's where the online screening activities plays a very, very critical role. Friends, on onboarding side, yes, you have as we had discussed earlier, the traditional method was keeping the documents in a physical form, which is very, very tiresome, which is very lethargic. But right now, because of technology, as it plays a very critical role, so you have document management softwares which is backed by the legal and regulatory requirements. So when you, the best example of it is digital locker, wherein it's basically digital locker is nothing but software driven, a management, data driven software, which is basically based out of legal and regulatory frameworks. So all this kind of if the companies are implementing such kind of onboarding processes, the documentation that we get, that is the organization gets from the employee, it's very easy to handle, or else it would be very, very tedious task to handle all those things. But over here it's very easy to handle those documents, because it's a software. Online you are maintaining all those documents, so it's much more easier for HR employee to maintain those softwares. And maybe after 10-15 years down the line, then also those documents will be lying with you. There is also a few of the organizations like Microsoft you have, or HP, or Indian companies like TCS. They have an online buddy program, uh, especially for onboarding, because as when the employees, when the new joinees, when they join the organizations, they are not aware that exactly how the things has to move, what are the activities which would be carried out. So XYZ things, they are in a dilemma. So uh, various these kind of IT companies, they have this online buddy programs, wherein a senior executive, or wherein a senior person, a senior employee, they assess this new joinees towards various activities. They guide online, these new joinees, that what kind of activities can be carried out, how it can be carried out, how you can move up the ladder in the same organization. And as it's an online program, so any point of time, depending upon the comfortability of both the sides, you can have those programs. And in person, it may happen that I am sitting down in Ahmedabad and my buddy or my mentor or guide, he is sitting down in US or some other country. So when you are having the online buddy program, it's much more easier for a new joinee to get across various employees within the organization. So yes, onboarding becomes much easier for such kind, when such kind of technologies are been implemented into the organizations. When you talk of training and development, yes, micro learning, you have various 5 minutes clips, 10 minutes clips on various specific topics. So micro learning in the organization, it becomes very important. Learning management systems, there are various softwares, there are various applications which through which you have training and development activities. You have mobile applications. The organizer, the employees is on the go, he is able to get various training activities, or he is able to understand his various modules of training on his or her mobile phones. So that is also that. Plus we are virtual reality or augmented reality, that is also playing a critical role, especially wherein you have more of technical side, wherein you require more of technical training at those in those positions. Yes, VR and AR also plays a very critical role, like say ISRO is there, or say for example NASA is there, or on engineering side you have something, the chip making activities is there, very micro minute activities needs to be carried out over there. Virtual reality or augmented reality plays a very important role. And lastly, of course, this is a trend wherein you are giving the training through gamifications. You are having a game which is designed, at the end of the game, when that employee is playing that game, employee or maybe the group of employees, when they play the game, they are able to realize few things, they are able to get the training themselves. So say for example, you have gamifications modules, uh, uh, wherein on the behavioral side you have gamification modules. Communication skills, for developing the communication skills, you have the gamification modules. You have on the leadership side you have gamification modules. So yes, on VR, AR, gamifications, yes, those are much more on the latest aspects the organization uses on the training and development side. Uh, Coming to compensation, earlier I had mentioned that uh, when you are talking of other functions like recruitment or selection, the HR plays the technology is much more implemented by the organizations. But in case of compensation, it is bit on a lower end, though you can see cryptocurrencies, or though you can see wellness application programs, but rather I have been observing of through various articles, which of course I will be sharing out with you, that SaaS as a revolution, as a compensation, especially if you talk as a software which is specific to the compensation, which is specially designed for the compensation activities, you would not rather see more quantum of softwares as a service which has been implemented by the organizations, especially for the compensation side. So it has left behind that revolution. It may be, again, I had been discussing out in the previous session that it may be only and only because compensation being a very tricky thing, very it's being very specific to the organization, and that may be the reason wherein the organizations are a bit reluctant to share those activities on the online front. But yes, there has been instances wherein the organizations have the financial wellness application, wherein as an employee the compensation which is coming in, how that uh, how that financial activities can be realized, how that financial benefit that is been shared with the employee, how it can be maintained properly by the employee. So for that the guidance would be given from the employer's perspective. So financial wellness applications are there, which has been implemented by the various companies. Say ICICI Bank is having for its employees that how you can manage these wellness programs. There are various other banking sectors are there for their employees who are working in various sectors. They do have the wellness application programs. Then, of course, you have the standardized compensation plans, which is on the online basis and which is basically helping the employees to understand how the compensation works. On the traditional front, as it was not a standardized compensation online platforms, so there has been discrepancies by the employees. There has been question marks by the employees that how such kind of compensation activities has been happening. But right now currently there has been organizations which has implemented standardized compensation plans which is on the online platform. So that is much more easier for the employees to understand what kind of compensations are there, rather than having a queries on the compensation. It's much more easier to understand the it's much more easier for the employees as it's online to see these compensation plans. Moving on to the next one, the appraisals. Yes, there has been a digital approach for the appraisal. There has been a quantifiable matrix that defines the outputs and the performance. So basically, as it's an online digital platform for the appraisal, directly if you feed in with that these activities, the performance, this is what it is. There has been a designing of the matrix. Depending upon those matrix, it's basically these digital platforms are backed, this especially the appraisal platforms are backed by the digital matrix. And this digital matrix, it basically comprises of the performance and the output. So if this is the performance, this should be the output. If this is the performance, this is the output. And when you feed into the performance of an XYZ employee, depending upon the quantifiable matrix, directly the system is able to generate you, this is the appraisal. This is what the appraisal of this specific employee would be. So, say for example, if it's a sales employee, so you are telling that you are mentioning that if that person has achieved 80% of the target, you need to provide 10%, or say you need to provide 70-80% of the salary hike. If it's 70%, 70% of the salary hike, 60%, 50% of the salary hike, whatever the case may be, you are quantifying the matrix. On the sales side, it's much more easier to quantify the matrix, but on a platform or on the for the profile wherein it's very difficult to quantify, say for example the HR activities, or there are certain activities which is played by HR on the employee satisfaction survey, or maybe the feedback of the employees, which is basically telling you what kind of activities the HR is playing. So in such a scenario, it would be a bit difficult to quantify those metrics. But yes, there has been softwares wherein you are able to quantify the qualitative aspects also. So there has been scientific assessment tools and the people analytical tools so that you are able to appraise this quantifiable matrix also. Clear? So, friends, when we are talking of this people analytics, depending upon the output and the performance, you are able to quantify the things, and that is how you are able to have your outputs. Employee engagement, yes, employee recognition softwares are there, wherein the platforms which has been utilized by the employees, you are having the backing of these recognition softwares. So say for example, if you have never missed a single day, or you have been consistently performing, by default it will be a software wherein it would be backing that after a month, if you are consistently performing or you have not missed any a single day in that month, you will be rather, the software will give you a pop-up that well done, keep it up. So that is something employee recognition, or rather the HR head will inform that yes, well done, you have never taken a leave, keep it up with that. So it's a software basically which is identifying all these various parameters, and it is giving you basic feedback directly to the employees. And if the feedback, if it's not been given to the employees directly, yes, we have been using chatbots. So there has been various instances wherein the organizations have implemented chatbots, so that it can have an association, or it can have an employee engagement activities through these chatbots. So online, if the employee wants to discuss out something which is associated with the organization, or which is associated with something else, yes, there are certain chatbots within the organization which is basically helping the organization and the employee to discuss out the few things. And simultaneously, at the end of that engagement activities, it would be justifying, that chatbot would be justifying that yes, it's thank you for discussing out with me, or thank you for uh, rather giving such kind of a feedback or xyz thing, which may be helping, or which may be carrying out the organization to the next level. So such kind of technologies, from recruitment, selection, onboarding, T&D, compensation, appraisal, employee engagement, at various levels, at various life cycle of employees, if you are using this technologies, it would be rather helpful for the organization, and of course rather helpful for the employees also. Now there are certain stages of this implementation, or rather transformation, digital transformation, which is happening. The first, of course, stage is the business is as usual. That is, it's basically a traditional form of carrying out the activities. But slowly and gradually, you present, or you see that there has been various active activities which has been happening, or rather you want to move ahead. So there has been various platforms wherein the employees, the top executives, they are able to understand that the present situation is not okay, we need to be more active into it. And that is where it would lead to the next stage. That is, you are formalizing the things, you are trying to understand what is the current situation. You are trying to understand what kind of technologies can be implemented, how the processes can be changed. You are trying to formalize the activities which you want to carry out, and then of course on the strategic side you try to do it. That is, you need to understand the strategic perspective of the process that you want to change, and how that change would be triggering the implementation part, or how rather that change would be helping you in achieving the strategic perspective. So yes, the formalized would can be will be happening through implementing the strategic activities, and then at the end, of course, it would be the converged, that is the traditional platform that you have, slowly and gradually you are trying to transform or converge that into the transformational side. And once you are implementing any kind of xyz software, it doesn't stop over there. You need to be more innovative, you need to be constantly innovating, or you need to be constantly adapting the new things in onto the software. To understand this, let me give you a small example of HRMS system. Say, for example, an organization is there wherein you have 100 employees, and the organization is feeling that it is a business as usual, it's happening. The organization is feeling that yes, we need to go ahead with some kind of transformational activities, that is the HR transformational activities, and that's the reason they are planning to implement some kind of HRMS system, which is basically focusing only and only on the various functions of HR on the transformational side. But currently the business is as it is, and then the present and the active situation, the CEO or the CFO or the head of the organizations, they are feeling that yes, the present and the active, that's something uneven balancing is there, we need to move ahead on the digital platform. So the formalization of the thing would be the when you are talking of an HRMS system, what kind of processes needs to be changed in the organization? That should be the first question that needs to be answered. So formalization and strategic will go hand in hand. You are trying to formalize the things through the strategic implementation. So over here, the organization would think that yes, the compensation activities would be, we will not have it online. The basic activities, that is, say for example, the traditional the marking of the absentees or making the attendance, that we will have it online. If the employees is having certain queries, that can be rectified through HRMS system, or he can put it up on the HRMS system. Say for example, you have some kind of well-being program, that we will advertise it on this HRMS system. The training and development activities, that will have it on HRMS system. So basically you are trying to formalize the activities in such a way that the in the strategic perspective, you need to cater to the processing of the you need to identify the processes that would be shifted on the shifted on the digital platform. So on the strategic front, once you have formalized that yes, these are the various activities or basic functions within the HR department that will be putting on the HRMS system. So on those formalizations, strategically you need to further understand that how the linking of the activities would be happening, or rather the processes would be changed. So as of now, traditionally the employee is coming in, he is marking the attendance. If you want to be on HRMS system, we need to have an have a maybe a thumb marking, or if he is able to if he is coming on to the organization, in the organization, and just logging in into the HRMS system, the attendance would go. So that's what, how strategically you would be converting your existing traditional processes into the transformational processes, that needs to be decided. And once that is decided, you are trying to converge, or you are trying to shift from that old traditional method slowly and gradually to the online platform. Clear? And once that has been done, once for say for example 100 employees, you are implementing your HRMS system. You need to be more innovative. You need to have more and more functions, not only and only three or four basic functions you are having it on the HRMS system. Slowly and gradually, you need to increase the perspective of HRMS. You need to increase the innovativeness of the HRMS system. So that's where the innovation and adaptive things would come into the picture. Lastly, there has been a huge benefits of the digital HR friends. Few of them, that's what has been listed on the PPT. Higher talent retention. Why it has been reflected that there will be a higher talent retention if it's been carried out through HR. Earlier, I have been informing you uh, that the internal career mobility, because of the technology, because of the HR technology, that will be on a higher end. So basically, when you are sitting down in India, in Ahmedabad, and if the another person who is sitting, if the company is having another opening in Chennai, and if the person wants to shift from Ahmedabad to Chennai, it's much more easier within the organization. The career mobility can be easily reflected by the employee. It can easily be the employee can easily apply for that, and that becomes much more easier. So it is much more easier to retain the talent if you are using the technology on the greater front. Stronger alignment between the company strategy and the people management. This would happen because as it's online, uh, the as the people management is online, the various activities which has been happening on the HR front, that is, say for example appraisal, say for example recruitment, training and development, all these activities are aligned with the company's strategy, or they are aligned with the mission and vision statement. So say for example, if I want to recruit, if I'm recruiting, if I want to recruit a person for say for marketing, for say product development background for an XYZ company, and the company's strategy is something more on innovation side. Say for example a company like 3M, which is much more an innovative company, and if I'm hiring for that person for the product development in a company like 3M, easily I need to first understand the profile. I need to first understand the JD, because 3M as a company, it gives more insight, or it gives rather more what do you call rather emphasis on innovation. And that's the reason easily you are able to align the company's strategy with the person whom you are hiring. Or maybe when you are talking of appraisals, or when you are talking of some other activities, if it's online, quickly the activities would be happening, and easily the top executives are also in a position to understand that such kind of activities are happening on the HR front. This is the person who is much more innovative, and he can be promoted. So as it's on the digital front, the activities can be free flowing. Better decision making with accurate data and information. Yes, directly you are able to tell that at one click, you are able to tell that what kind of activities happens, and what kind of things are happening for the employees, what kind of employees are required, or rather out of the 100 employees that the organization is having, you are easily in a position to tell that from this basic medium you are able to get the maximum maximum number of employees are retained by this medium if you are hiring it. So yes, it becomes much more easy in the decision making. Increased employee satisfaction and better talent management, that's what we had seen earlier. It lowers the HR cost because it lowers the time, it lowers the various activities as it's on the online digital platform. Say for example, if you are recruiting through various online digital platforms, you will be in a position to recruit the best, so that the attrition would be less. You are able to recruit the best within a very short duration, so you are able to reduce your cost, you are able to save your time, the organization's time, so in a much more effective way. Automation of manual processes, that is much more easier. Improved visibility over the workforce, so easily you are able to see that what kind of activities the workforce is carrying out, what kind of activities the employees are carrying out, which is basically much more visible to you. Consolidated HR system. So the HR activities doesn't work in aloof. That is, it doesn't work alone. That is, say for example, if you are talking of recruitment, it's not that the recruitment is not affiliated with training and development. Yes, it is affiliated. It should be integrated among each other. And that's where the online, if it's online, if it's on the digital side, the consolidation of all these various activities, it becomes much more easier. Stronger employer branding and candidate attrition rate, because easily you are able to showcase that what kind of activities the employees what kind of activities the employers are doing, it maybe on the online platform, maybe on XYZ other platforms, and that's what you are able to retain the employees. Advanced analytics and improved reporting, as you are having more of analytics, as you are having more of data crunching, as big data plays a very critical role. That's the reason the reporting and the analytics, the advanced analytics, it's much more easier. And at the end, the decision that you take for the employee and for the overall development of the employee, for the overall development of the organization, it is much more easier. So basically at the end of this session, rather I would mention that as we are implementing digital HR into the organizations, we are able to have a better alignment with the activities that an individual employee is performing vis-a-vis with the organizational activities. And that is where, if you are able to align both of these activities, the vision and mission statement or the objectives of the organization with the individual activities of the employee through a digital platform, that would be much more beneficial to the organization. Thank you. Oh.